Viewers, welcome back here on the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. We are coming to you live from the Port Mall, downtown Scarborough, Tobago. And this morning we dive straight into conversations with Mr. Javon Job, Marine Park Manager, Department of Fisheries. And we're going to be talking about the Buccoo Reef Marine Park Management and actions going forward. Mr. Job, good morning and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning to you as well. How are you today?
I am well. All right. So we're talking about actions moving forward. And this conversation right now is critical because of incidents that we would have had in recent times. Unfortunate incidents, I must say, we would have had a 71-year-old that lost his life, unfortunately. We also had a man that lost his leg. And then we would have had, most recently, during the Tobago October Carnival, where we would have seen a boat that was almost sunken. Yeah, and then we had persons panicking. I want to ask you, though, from your perspective, what has been some of the implications on our tourism product based on those, on the reef, I should say, the product that is offered at the reef based on those incidents?
Okay, so the impact that you could see happening to the tourism industry, or for tourism in particular, is that it breeds a spirit of fear. When I say that is, you'd see persons who would want to come to the reef and then they realize that these things has happened before. The boat sinking, someone has lost their life. They start to question whether it is safe for them to carry their family or their friends outside. Internationally, people would look in, and when they see something like this happening, they would want to know, is this really a good product that I should bring my family to? And that way, actually seeing persons shine away from the reef, and we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, we definitely don't. All right. So tell me, what policies or regulations do we have in place right now that we are able to enact?
All right. So there is a Marine Areas Act where the minister would be able to designate any part of the marine environment as a reserve. Now, inside of that act, it would tell you about the enhancement of the reef, the preservation of it. It would talk about protecting of the flora, the fauna. That will include the birds, the fishes, the coral, the mangroves. It encompasses all of these things. And within that area, it would have specific regulations that would be prepared for that area to ensure the proper management of that reef or marine protected area.
All right. So there are specific parts of the reef that are protected, that are designated for use, for livelihood, for scientific research.
Correct.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do we have park rangers, and what exactly are their portfolios?
All right. So we have, I would call them reef patrol officers, right? And they in turn would be the ones who would patrol the reef with their vessel. And when they notice that there is somebody in breach of the regulations, they would give a warning or guidance to say, you shouldn't be doing this. You need to turn back and ensure that everything is okay.
And how often are they out there?
Every day. So even within the weekends, they will have special patrols that would happen on the weekend as well. But every day, between the opening hours of the marine park, they will be present from morning till evening time.
All right. All right. And as we're talking about actions moving forward, tell me what under your division is being implemented right now.
All right. So right now, we are trying to ensure that we have the navigational channels back up and running. We would like to ensure that the boundaries are delineated so persons will be able to see and know that they are entering into the marine park. We are also looking into, how to say it, more educational drives so persons will understand the importance of a marine protected area and the do's and don'ts of it. Just general education and having a presence outside so persons would know for a fact that we can together be able to create a sustainable environment, because a wise person really did say before is the wise use of whatever that you have. So it's not that you're looking at the two extremes. In general, we just have more plans to come out. We're taking our time, understanding, we are observing what has been happening, and we know therefore ensure that we put the systems in place. And when the systems are in place, it's just for us to reach out to the people now to be able to have the behaviors change or the actions change so that we will have sustainable development happening all around.
All right. So I heard you touched on educating the people. We're educating the communities, the surrounding communities, Tobago at large. or is that we've also put in a drive in place to educate the tourists, whether local or international, that will be coming to use the park?
Right. So it will encompass both local and international. Starting, let's say, we would like to at least start meeting with the schools so they would understand, again, what a marine protected area is. We would like to have things going out on the advisory so that tourists, whether local tourists or international tourists, are understanding of the do's and the don'ts of the reef. That being the case, once you know, you'll be able to ask questions. And when you ask questions, persons will know how, well, I don't want to say how safe it is, but they would understand that there is a management plan in place and that once you do follow it, everything will be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you did mention that we do have an act and we do have some regulations, but are there any arrestable or offenses under this act, or is it that any penalties are attached to?
Yes, there are. Now, in the Marine Protected Areas, well, the Marine Areas Act, you'd find out about the fine. And the fine is supposed to be about, I think it was $10,000, I believe it was. And for every subsequent day afterwards, it should be about $1,000 being added onto it, if not 100. But I need to follow up on that. Once that is so, meaning that you engage the TTPS or the Coast Guard alongside the Reef Patrol, and they do come outside, they are there to be able to carry out or enforce that particular law.
And in recent times, to the best of your knowledge, have we enforced that law upon anyone?
There was the attempt to do it at certain points. We'll go out and explain this is what it was. Even in the past, before my time as a marine park manager, the regulations were in place. They had actually the permit system and the transit system that is there. That needs still a little bit of revamping, but it is there to allow for persons to be able to be permitted within the marine park. That would also include a permit for transit across the marine park. And that being the case, that being enforced along with the TTPS, the Coast Guard, and the Reef Patrol officers, we will better be able to have a better hold on what is happening there.
Because I think when we do have regulations and policies in place, even an arrestable offense, and it's never enforced, persons naturally, as human beings, we naturally become complacent. We naturally feel comfortable. We naturally think that it is not that there's no consequences for our actions. And then there's this thing in labor law, custom and practice. Once you're accustomed doing something, you've been doing it for the longest while, it automatically feels normal or automatically becomes law. So I would definitely agree there that we should be enforcing.
Correct. So I just want to add a little bit to what you're saying. Now, my background previously or in the past was that of a teacher. And obviously, when you are dealing with children or students, what will happen is that if you allow them to continue doing what they're doing, they will take a mile, they will go further, they will go beyond what is the norm. So it's more about reminding, I would say training, because you have to train them of the proper use even of certain equipment on the boat. Ensuring that even with collaboration with the MSD, that is the Maritime Services Division, to know that, hey, this vessel is actually supposed to carry this amount of persons. And the Reef Patrol officers, knowing this, would be able to now address the reef operators at that time that you have a little bit too much of people on your boats. They need to reduce the amount and allow for another reef operator to get a chance. Because sometimes when we really look at it, is that we want to take all. And if we want to take all, it means that the next man who wants to carry out his livelihood would not be able to carry it out as effectively as the person who wants to take all.
Right, I totally understand. But even as you touch on that topic a bit, I must ask, is it that when a reef tour boat is going out, is there an enforcer, is there a supervisor that is from the marine park that looks over the vessel before it departs, that ensures that all safety procedures are followed, safety equipment on board, life-saving equipment, along with the number of passengers?
All right. So we had to understand that as a Reef Patrol officer, they're supposed to be out on the reef. So they wouldn't necessarily be on land to be checking these things. Now, forgive me for saying it like this. There should be a designated person that should be there to be able to at least pick out the same items they listed, especially with the fact that to understand the general safety protocols are there. Now, that is under the jurisdiction of the Maritime Services Division, where they're able to tell you how much the boat is able to carry, if the vessel is seaworthy. And from there, when they are able to point that out and say, yes, this vessel is seaworthy, this is the carrying capacity, then you're able to. Now, a collaboration could also happen with tourism as well, because I believe it was there in the past, where they would have had a ticketing booth to be able to manage the number of persons going on each vessel. And with that being the case as well, you would also see that all reef operators now have a fighting chance to be able to carry out the trading at that particular time.
All right, so then I can see where Marine Affairs trying to thank you so much, Maritime Services. We're trying to cork those holes. We have some holes in the system.
Correct.
All right. So besides, as we are talking about actions moving forward, so you did talk about educating the community, educating the people. Besides education, what else is being implemented?
So we want to have more, as I said, more of a presence, right? So when we start to do more signage to be able to indicate the boundaries and the regulations as stated before, talks are happening maybe possibly about our website, because there are other marine parks within the Caribbean as well. And when you do look at the websites and so forth that they carry on, they'd actually show information on their reef system or their marine areas. So I believe that in the near future as well, we are going to be working on that website as well, to be able to at least put it up there so persons, when they are searching, they could find it. They would know about it. They will know that it is there. But they could also see maybe the reef operators who are involved as well. And in so doing, that would also have a lasting impact. So it's not just that we're doing the education with the schools and just the locals, but once we at least have it maybe at the ports of entry, maybe at the hotels or any kind of, tourism, travel agencies, once they are able to display or show brochures of these things, we would be in a better place.
All right. So it's mostly education drive. It's mostly an awareness, mostly letting persons know what is acceptable, what isn't, what the regulations says rather, and what they should or should not be doing. Great. But could you tell me about training and development for the reef tour operators?
So talking a little bit about that, now we have discussions going on that we may have to, but there will be some consultations that will be coming out in the future as well, so that they'll be able to understand. Now, through the Tobago Agri-Technology Services Limited, they had done a consultation that was called the Safety at Sea consultation, where they were able to meet with some of these reef operators before, along with some other fisher folk, where they were able to identify some of the training needs. Now, the next step now is to put the systems or that education part in place, so that when the consultations do come through again, to invite them again, they'll be able to have the proper safety at sea training.
Right.
That will be even including the fact that what to do when a man is overboard, so that when a person do fall overboard, they'll be able to carry out the proper procedure. If a person is drunk, then you know what you're supposed to do. If somebody have a cut, basic first aid training, they get that done as well. So they will become essentially the first responders to be able to alleviate some of the pressures before the person actually come back to land.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so very much, Mr. Job, for all that you came here and shared with us this morning. We truly, truly appreciate it. And all the work you all are getting done at the Department of Fisheries, as the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development. Viewers, we were talking to Mr. Javon Job from the Buccoo Reef Marine Park Management and their actions moving forward. We know that we would have had quite a few incidents happened in recent times that might have caused a bit of a panic, but we want to make sure that our reefs are sustainable, and that's talking scientific, we're talking livelihoods, and we're also talking tourism. They all go together like a trifecta that we must be able to keep alive and keep our tourism product here alive in Tobago. Again, thank you so much for tuning into Tobago Updates Television and the morning show. We have so much more for you. We're going to take a quick break and be right back. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.